We shall now take a journey into the deep world of submersible undersea craft. That makes perfect sense, right? Submarines were first invented in 1620 by Cornelius Jacobson de Brizzel, a Dutchman in the service of King James of England. It was created by the standards of design outlined by English mathematician William Boone. It was propelled by means of oars, the first use of manpower propulsion tool. The first military submarine was the USS Turtle, built in 1775, designed by the American David Burchell to accommodate a single person. It was the first verified submarine capable of underwater operation and movement, and the first to use screws or propellers for propulsion. During the American Revolutionary War, the Turtle tried and failed to sink the British warship HMS Eagle, the flagship of blockaders in the New York harbor, on September 7, 1766. In 1800, a human-powered submarine designed by American Robert Fulton, the Nautilus, was built, but the French gave up on the experiment in 1804, as did the British when they later considered Fulton's submarine design. Submarines during the Civil War were most likely the best Victorian age submarines of all time. Both the Union and the Confederate States of America used submarines. 2 operational unarmed Confederate submarines were spotted during the later half of 1861, one in the James River in Virginia and another in New Orleans. The United States Navy was first interested in submarines as a way to clear obstacles, such as a minesweeper does nowadays. Fortunately, the USS Alligator, as this submarine was called, was lost in a storm off Cape Hatteras. The Confederates had a little bit better luck. The first submarine, the USS Pioneer, sunk a target ship with a towed mine, but it was soon also lost in a storm. The second Confederate submarine was known as the American Diver, also known as the Pioneer II, was built in Mobile, Alabama. It was initially designed to be propelled by an electric motor, which some World War II submarines were powered by, but this proved to be too weak. A steam engine was installed, but this also proved to be too weak. It was eventually also lost during a storm. The third and best Confederate submarine was the H.L. Huntley, named after its financier, Mr. Huntley himself. He built 2 of these submarines. He tested the first one, and he was unfortunately killed when the submarine flooded on its first test run. This was the first recorded sinking of a ship by a submarine using a torpedo. Slowly but surely, through many years of development, testing, and quite a few accidents, the submarines evolved into the style we knew during World War II. Most was the U-boat, conceived by Germany to cut off England from supply lines by sinking more commercial ships than England could produce. This was achieved by building over 1,000 U-boats, and to speed up production of those 1,000 U-boats, Germany stopped production on all surface ships as it believed it can defeat England through underwater warfare. Eventually, through trial and error and the discovery of the nuclear bomb, submarines moved into more of the style we knew today, starting with the nuclear-powered Nautilus. This ship was the first vessel to reach the North Pole as it came up underneath the hard-packed ice. The creation of the rocket and the cruise missile led to the creation of ballistic missile submarines, often armed with nuclear warheads, mostly during the Cold War by Russia and the United States as nuclear deterrence and as vessels to bring each country's nuclear weapons closer to the enemy's shores, thereby allowing quicker preemptive strike. Also, the civilian sector began using submarines as a way for exploring the depths, discovering shipwrecks, and even tourism on those said shipwrecks. In conclusion, the submarine has been a very important and effective tool in warfare and the civilian sector. I'd like to thank you for listening to our little journey into the history of submarines.